years, the Miami Hurricanes have been first in recruiting in the Coastal. In the last 5 years, they've put more players in the NFL than any team in the ACC. If you had to take a guess, could you tell us why that hasn't led to more success?
Say that again.
Okay, so the last 15 years, the Miami Hurricanes have been number one in the Coastal in recruiting. Mm-hmm. In the last ACC. If you had to take a guess, because I know you haven't been here over 15 years. If you had to take a guess, could you tell us why they haven't led to more success?
I don't know more players than any ACC team in the NFL. I mean,
the last 5 years. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer to that question that you're looking for is. It's like most things. I'm sure it's an answer. It's people can find whatever the answer they want to find. I'm sure there's a bunch of things involved in it. I think everybody knows recruiting rankings are tell part of a story. I don't know. Look here's being a head coach. I'm really excited about the first two recruiting classes we brought in this program. I'm really excited. I can't speak a lot about 15 years and all those other things that you discussed and that you said. I think if we keep doing what we've done the last couple of years and we keep bringing in the talent we brought in the last couple of years and we keep playing, I think things are gonna get really, really good around here. So I can't carry around the burden of 15 years and personnel that we had in it. And we try to get our people better every year, and that's us as coaches, that's us doing a better job every year. But it's not complicated. You want your program to be better, you bring in better people. And I think we're bringing in better people. I just do. So.
All right, thanks.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everybody. If we don't see you before Thursday, have a happy Thanksgiving with your family and friends, and we'll see you Saturday.
Thank you all. Happy Thanksgiving.
I got a question for y'all.
Recording stopped.
How what just happened? Let me know in the comment section. What just happened? What just happened? Because it's facts. I've been saying it. I'm sure y'all went and checked. I'm sure all y'all have went and checked behind me. So it's facts. I just wanted him to explain that because we talk about recruiting and how we have to recruit better players and be blah, blah, blah. I didn't expect him to stumble like that. That kind of caught me off guard. What's going on, man? I was on mute. That's messed up. I was on mute for a minute. I hope y'all can hear me now. Give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. I see people asking, why did I start with the Manny question, right? If you listen to the Manny question, I'm not trying to I don't see me post that numerous times. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or something of that nature. Not trying to pick at Manny. That ain't the purpose of why I started with it. Yesterday in my membership, right? The Villain membership, right? I wrote a story. Thank Coconut Grove. Bet that up with a thumbs up. I wrote a story yesterday morning in our Villain membership explaining who Syracuse was offensively. And I'm going to do something for y'all that only I can do. You know what I'm saying? Only Footballville can do because of where we come from. I wrote a story explaining who the Syracuse offense is. Arundel Gaston. Arundel Gaston is the son of Arundel Gaston, played the Miami Dolphins. He was a big possession receiver. His son in high school went to American Heritage. He started blossoming late as a receiver. Wasn't as fast, wasn't as athletic, but he had the same tools that his dad had. The University of Miami did not look at him. They did not wink at him. They didn't recruit him. He went on to Syracuse. That's what we faced yesterday. I talked about Jackson Meeks. I talked about LaQuint Allen, a running back out of New Jersey. He was a 3-star guy. You know what I'm saying? Had a couple offers. A kid that Miami wouldn't recruit. Jackson Meeks, 3-star guy. Miami wasn't on his recruiting list. A kid that Miami wouldn't recruit. And the reason I wrote the story was because I was trying to tell my members that, listen, yeah, they're 8-3, but this is who we're facing. This is who we're facing. We're facing a team. Look at this little baby back here. We're facing a team that have recruited guys that we wouldn't recruit, right? They have a staff of, they have a roster of guys that Miami don't recruit. They've had an opportunity to go to Syracuse and show who they are, and now they're coming back with things like Syracuse leads the country in contested catches. You know what that says to me? Syracuse wide receivers can't get separation because they're guys that University of Miami didn't recruit. We knew this from the jump. And their quarterback has the nuts to give his guy a chance to catch the ball, and he's tougher than your guy. That's what that stat says to me. Period. King Cal say on Monday Morning Quarterback. King Cal, I wrote this story yesterday. Become a member and you can read it. Syracuse came in here like Rutgers and just said, our guys are tougher than your guys. I'm telling you that they have guys we didn't recruit. So the reason I start with the many question is that it's the same thing. When are our guys on paper that we're recruiting bigger and faster? When is that going to meet the systems and the coaching, right? The systems and the coaching, when is it going to meet? And we could walk into New York and slap a team with a first-time head coach like Syracuse in the motherfucking mouth. When is that going to meet? Because I asked Manny this question 5 years ago. We are better than them. So now we get up 21 zip. Syracuse is horrible at stopping the run. And I'm going to bring my boy Kyle in here for this. So we get up 21 zip. So the defense got stopped. So everybody wanted to kill Lance Gentry. The offense was playing well. The defense got stops. We're up 21 zip. At that point, bring my boy Kyle in here. At that point, Kyle, we up 21 zip. Syracuse can't stop the run. Damian Martinez is averaging 8 yards a carry, right? Damian Martinez is averaging 8 yards a carry. At that point, Rick, mute your background. At that point, what should happen, bro? Sunday morning, that boy in that church, that boy pouring up some liquor, boy. It's Sunday morning, dog. That boy pouring up liquor, dog. It's
I mean, at that point, common sense and strategy should take over. You don't have to. Hey, Rich, you need to mute your background. Okay. You don't have to not be aggressive, but you got to play the game for what it is. You're up 21 zip, and our six, seven, $800,000 running back is ripping off your 7 and 8 yards every time he touches the ball. I haven't the slightest idea why you don't just go ahead and just feed the hog, make the hog fatter, because you could still put points on the board and kill the clock at the same time. A team that cannot stop the run, a team that can really not stop your offense. We stopped ourselves. So at some point in time, we get back to the overall question. We have this talent, and I see y'all in the comment section. Fire this coordinator, fire that coordinator. My brothers, all of it leads back to the head man in charge, bro. Like you don't see what's going on. I hear you saying coordinator this and coordinator that, but you as the head man, you don't see what's going on. You don't come over, and I get it. I get what everybody's gonna say. Oh, last year we complained because he was overbearing, and this year he stepped back. I know that, man, but we want you to do the job properly. You have to have balance. So at some point in time, you're supposed to say, hey, okay, I don't have to tighten the leash, but right now is where I need to step in because I've seen this happen all season where we stop going to the run game. That's super effective.
Right.
And we need to get back to that. Street, we got a lot of feedback and static, bro.
Okay.
But at some point, you have to step in and you have to say, okay, well, things should go this way, things should go that way. You don't have to know a whole lot about defense to tell Gidry, hey man, I need to stop seeing Mesidor covering in the flat. I need to not have Jaden Harris out there on the field. I mean, you don't have to be a savant at this. And people saying in the comments we need to hire savants. Hey, we got to check the head man, bro. It's your job. There's nothing wrong with getting G5 coaches, but you got to understand their work in progress too. So how do I help my G5 coaches get better? I got to tell them when they're wrong, and I got to get them to make these changes and stuff. So all of it goes back to the head man. And just to top off the question, it's fair to ask him the Manny question too, because he's out recruited the hell out of Manny. I mean, at least on paper. And if y'all say, well, paper don't matter, blah, okay, well, like he said, they got to run their Gaston, who could not play for this team apparently. They got the other kid who could not play for this team apparently. How are they getting the most out of these kids that are not good enough to get scholarships at the University of Miami? And we can't get the most out of players that are good enough to get scholarships at Alabama, Ohio State, wherever it may be. We've got some really good players on this team, and we can't get the most out of them. It goes back to the head man, and that's not a Fire Mario conversation. It's just all roads lead somewhere, bro.
What you said? They lead somewhere.
They lead somewhere. Like, come on, bro. Like, y'all be. I don't understand why y'all want to protect Mario so bad. Like, again, I'm gonna repeat this for the umpteenth time. Mario got an A for this season. I'm giving him an A. I think he did the best job that he could do, right?
Right.
But there's more to be desired. I don't understand why everybody wants to. Is this guy, that, but nobody wants to look at the head man. Yo, bro, you make all the decisions. You do like nobody's looking at the head man. You brought in these G5 coaches. When do you look at the head man, bro, and say, hey, we got a problem there? And I give Mario props because I do think he's grown as a head coach compared to last year and all that kind of stuff. I do think he's growing, but I don't think y'all understand. We have a fundamental problem right there that has to be fixed. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know if you get better people around you as far as like like how we had a guy like Zoe and Ed Reed. I don't know if you get that around you, somebody you respect or whatever, but that's where everything goes back to. So it's fair to pop up the Manning question because we can't keep saying talent, 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 talent. We don't have enough. We don't have enough. We don't have enough. Man, bro.
Right. Same thing Manny was saying, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Same thing Manny was saying. And that's why I started with it. I go to one thing. Like I look at it's not a micro thing. It's a macro thing. And for all the Kane fans in here, we watched Jacoby George last night get a costly penalty, right? Young kid. Jacoby George is a young kid. I was once a young dumb kid, United States Marine, doing dumb shit in my life. I understand it. I had sergeants and I had captains that will come down on me, and eventually they got my Miami ghetto ass right. You know what I'm saying? And I start walking the straight and narrow. This is how I see it from a macro standpoint. Jacoby George, when I'm at the games, I see Jacoby George, fiery guy. He don't take no shit. He's always drawing with guys. He's always doing little things to other guys. And you're asking yourself, is that a penalty? They didn't throw the flag. Okay, we good. Yeah. But he's been making these mistakes for years now, right? Right? He's been making these mistakes for years. And I attribute it. I kind of compare it to this. If you at the house, right, and your son keeps twinkling on the floor in the bathroom, and you keep saying, "Look, John, stop pissing on the floor in the bathroom." And you've been saying this for a year. John, man, stop pissing on the floor in the bathroom. And one day you walk in the bathroom and you slip and fall, bust your head. Now you're in the emergency room, right? It's because you never corrected the problem and it turned into a bigger problem. And if you're not going to correct Lil John from pissing on the floor in the bathroom, or Lil John isn't afraid to slow down and piss in the toilet, it's because there's no fear of shit rolling downhill. He doesn't fear you as a dad, or he doesn't respect you as a dad. Now follow me on this. Jacoby George continues to make the mistakes he makes because he knows that the raft isn't coming from up. So Mario sometimes come across as a tough guy. He's a big guy. He walks to the podium. He looks mean sometimes. But I don't think they fear him, nor do they totally respect him. And the way how I see that is that Jacoby George continually making the same mistake. At some point, Kevin Beard has to stop him. Shout out to Uncle Luke. And if Kevin Beard doesn't stop him, Mario has to come down on Kevin Beard and Jacoby George. It didn't happen, my friends. And we all sat there and watched us go from second and goal at the 5-yard line to second and goal at the 20-yard line. And even having the best player in college football, it wasn't good enough. And it was sad. It was sad because if you're a villain if you're a villain in our membership, Kyle can attest to this. We talk about these things over and over again. Somebody has to reel Cam Ward in. Somebody has to stop Jacoby George. Somebody has to come down on Sam Brown when he's spazzing on the side. Like, we can't keep letting these things happen. And that's why I'm saying it's a macro problem. Like, it's a macro problem. It's not just fire Guidry. Somebody has to walk in a room and say, Guidry, at game 5, put me in the slot, put Markeith at safety. Let's limit snaps to some of these guys out here.
I'm just gonna say that. If Gidry isn't doing it, somebody above him must do it, or at least have that conversation. Now, I know y'all gonna say, "Well, y'all don't know how to practice. Y'all don't know these guys. Y'all don't see what it." No, okay. There is a variable that we don't see when it comes to what players doing on the off the field, whether they smoking weed and they supposed to, whether they go at curfew and they supposed to, whether they can. There is variables, right? There are variables, but I think an 11 game or a 12 game sample size is long enough. It's long enough, dog, for even Ray Charles to see the problems. Now, I know a lot. You know what I'm saying? I do know a lot. I talk to the kids. I know a lot what's going on inside. And our ability to make decisions, going all the way back to TVD last year, I think that this didn't start this year. Our ability to make decisions as a program, to come down on kids, to change things, it happens so slow. The process is so slow. But this is not a this year thing. This is last year when us watching TVD tried out there over and over again, and nobody could understand why. Kyle, what you drinking on, dog?
What is this? It's the same rum I had last year, y'all. Look, I ain't even have to finish the bottle this year, man. And then now, I might have to finish this bitch.
Rich, you in here?
Yeah, I'm in here. I'm in here.
Talk to
Yo,
me, bro. I mean, you live now, man. I mean, you heard all of this. Rich is our brains. Rich is the guy with 3 different degrees. Rich is the undercover Clemson fan. Like. Talk to us, dog. Like Rich, like you hear everything we saying, man. What's your take on it, my brother?
man, let's go back to last year. I don't know, because you hit the nail on the head. Somebody has to come down on your position coaches, your coordinators, and you have to you got to make a decision as a head coach. And going back to last year, as you alluded to, Street, we sat there and saw an organization, a head coach, have beef with a second string quarterback as opposed to letting his nuts hang and tell our first string quarterback to get the fuck out of Dodge. I'm sorry. I don't care about the NIL money. I don't care about none of that. If you see players that's not good for the program, if you sit there and you do not discipline those players, you might lose your locker room. You might lose other players. Other players become disinterested. To Kyle's point, I'm looking at Martinez rip off these runs, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, Kyle McCord is an NFL caliber quarterback. He came into that game with more yards than our quarterback, who's a Heisman Trophy finalist. Kyle McCord is probably going to be a top 3 quarterback when he enters the draft next year. We don't have an NFL caliber secondary. We don't. Not now, at least.
We don't.
They're like college sophomores.
Yep.
Instead of slowing the game down, how many running backs we have that are capable on our roster? About 5, right, Kyle?
Yeah, I would say all of them. Every last one.
Every last one of them could have went out there and just like Streeter said, these are all 4-star guys, 4+ star running backs. Every last one of them could have sat out there and gave Syracuse defense the business.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way that Georgia Tech did us. Georgia Tech passed the ball 5 times. The reason they did that is because they knew if we go out here and we pass the ball 40 times against this Miami team, they're going to blow us out. So they said, let's play keep away, and let's just let Cam Ward sit on the bench. And it even almost worked last night with Georgia, the night before.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we have a coach, personnel,
coach.
someone, I'm not even going to say head coach, I'm just somebody who works in that building, who puts the U on their chest, sit down and say, you know what? We need to strategize better. This strategy sucks. We sitting here and we having college sophomore DBs go up against an NFL caliber quarterback, and we think that we're gonna get the better of this guy. Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, right. And to the people that's just getting here, we got 700 in here, man. Hit the like button and share. We eventually we're gonna get into can we make the playoffs? Like our chances to make the playoffs. Rich, I'm gonna put you in the back for a second. Can we make the playoffs and our chances to make the playoffs? Like what Rich just said, I mean, is true. Is I see people saying coordinators. In this day and college age and college football, bro, like firing your coordinator, right? Like, and bringing in transfer portal kids at the same time, bro. You talking about you could start really creating a disaster, dog. Like you really have to have your culture intact and your shit intact as a team to do that, to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? The Hurricanes improved this year. 3 wins, I think. They got 10. They 10-2. So shout out to that. I mean, they're a better team, which now brings the ceiling closer with Mario because you can't really start going backwards. Like, and I think he knew that. Like he started from 5 wins and he was building it slow. But you can't once you start getting the 10 wins. Shout out to Ryan Day, who may be fucking getting fired, and this man done lost 5 games in 5 years. But you can't go backwards. So now the ceiling is 10. Now the ceiling is 10. And the expectations are really finna start coming down when it comes to this program. Shout out to Chris Young. Chris Young say freaky Mel Tucker for DC in 2025. Chris Young wants Mel Tucker at DC. How you feel about that? Chris Young is a villain, man. Shout out to the villains. How you feel about that, Cal? Freaky Mel Tucker.
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch enough of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Outside of a couple of guys, I don't
Mel
know. I
Tucker.
can't tell you who. I
Mel
can't tell
Tucker
you. I know who
is
Mel Tucker
Michigan
is, but I
State.
can't tell you
That's
who.
Michigan State's head coach that came in and changed the whole program, got the big check, and then the white girl said he sent her
Mhm.
some freaky texts and got fired.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if Mario. I don't know if Mario hires guys like that. Like Mel Tucker is another head coach. Like I haven't. Have we seen Mario do that? Has Mario brought anybody in like that?
Nah. Um. Nope. Some of you basically saying somebody that can challenge him. Nah. Don't. Nah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
Uh.
if our head coach is built like that. I think he has to be like the big guy in the room. Um, um. So I don't. That sounds good on paper, but I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Now let's go off for a minute, man. Go off the rail for a minute. Something interesting happened yesterday. UCF head coach Gus Malzahn stepped down as head coach or whatever, and got hired for Florida State to be their offensive coordinator. Gus Malzahn at his own program 2 weeks ago gave up the offensive play calling to Tim Harris' son. So he stopped calling plays at his own program, stepped down, and Florida State hired him yesterday to be the offensive coordinator at Florida State, which we know Norvell is an offensive guy. Think that's a good hire? How you feel
Nah,
about
I
that?
think it's weird. It doesn't make sense. Like you just said, this man had to relieve himself of play calling duties. And as soon as he steps down, he gets an OC job. That doesn't make any sense. And like
Right.
if y'all have seen UCF anytime this year, dog, his play calling was bad. Like you can watch the game and say these issues are direct of play calling. Forget whether the quarterbacks are any good or not. Just watching the play calling was trash. It was a joke. I, mm, every quarterback he had, I saw play better somewhere else. And just watching the play calling, it was trash. How he
Right.
just steps down and get an OC job, I have no idea. It was crazy to me. But shout out to Mike Norvell. I love you, Florida State. Keep on doing what you're doing.
I don't know if Malzahn the answer, dog. I don't know, dog. I don't know if Malzahn the answer. But it goes to show you, that it's not always about X's and O's and who's the smartest guy. Sometimes these boosters that have the money, who kind of have leverage and have power, they're not football coaches. They're fans. I know because I talk to a lot of them all the time. They're fans. They call me and pick my brain. You know what I'm saying about football and what's going on. They're businessmen. You know what I'm saying? Getting a name like Gus Malzahn sounds good to the fans. But the people that's really in this thing, I don't know how good it is. Like, it sounds good to the fans. Oh, Norvell, replacement is on the staff. That type of shit, right? And it looks good to the fans. And sometimes, dog, with these agents and these coaches' agents, that's how guys get jobs. I don't know if that made them better than us. Now back to us. Like I was saying, the 800 people in here, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button and share. I wrote a story before the game happened, explaining to our villain members who Syracuse offense was. Syracuse offense is comprised of a bunch of kids that the University of Miami wouldn't recruit. And I went down. Arundel Gaston went to American Heritage. I don't know how many of y'all know that. Arundel Gaston went to American Heritage. University of Miami did not recruit him. They recruited other guys on his team. He went to Syracuse, got an opportunity to show that, hey, I may not be faster than you guys, but I have more heart. And if they throw me the ball, I'm going to catch it like my dad. Jackson Meeks, 3-star wide receiver. Miami wouldn't look twice at him. LaQuint Allen, running back out of New Jersey. I don't even know if we use the word running back when we go to New Jersey. I don't even know if New Jersey had running backs. You know what I'm saying? Those are the guys that Syracuse had with a first-time head coach in Fran Brown, who I spent some time with last year. I'm cool with Fran Brown. I texted him last night and just told him, listen, bro, first year, let me see exactly what I said. Congrats. That was impressive in year one. And he just hit me back. I appreciate you. I spent time with Fran Brown. I interview his son. Like every time at the end of the game, you see that little boy he has with him. That's his son. He takes his son with him to all the handshakes. Mario didn't even really want to shake his hand last night, and rightfully so. I understand Mario. But Fran Brown is a first-time head coach. Last year when I interviewed his son, he was the cornerback coach at Georgia. No head coaching experience. He was trying to get out of Georgia, maybe go to a small school, become the head coach. Some strings got pulled, and he ended up as the head coach at Syracuse, bro. He ended up as the head coach at Syracuse. And happened to be the last team on our schedule. 8-3. First time in the ACC. And they knock us off. And he knocks us off with a chance for us to win the ACC. And I'm here to tell y'all, with arguably one of the greatest college quarterbacks I ever saw play. And I'm not talking about from a Cam Newton fucking running around, Johnny Manziel. I'm talking about one of the greatest minds, one of the greatest talents of a college quarterback I ever saw, who I believe will go on to be one of the better quarterbacks we've ever seen to play football. That's who we praying gets one more shot to play in a college football playoff. That's what we have had for the last 12 years. Y'all can argue me all y'all want to. I've seen Lamar Jackson. I've seen Teddy Bridgewater, Geno Smith. I'm telling you, this talent that we just saw at quarterback is one we had never seen at the University of Miami. And I don't know how Kyle feel about it, but he's a generational talent, bro. Like, Cal, what you think? Cal's my offensive guy. You know what I'm saying? I go to Cal for all the offense stuff. What do you think about Cam Ward?
No, I think everything you said was right, bro. I don't know when the next time you're gonna see this. Forget it, Miami. Just in general, as a quarterback, that was something different you haven't seen before. Does he have his flaws? Of course he does. He's a college quarterback. But that was something different. And that's the best you could muster. Like, the best you could muster out of a generational quarterback is one game better than Manny Diaz's best year. That's not okay. That's the best you could muster. Like, yeah, we got the number one rated offense and all, but that's all you could do in the win loss column, man. That's not a Yeah, bro. That's not a good thing. But Cam is a generational talented quarterback, bro. That mind doesn't come along that often. You're gonna get the arm strength from somebody. You're gonna get a faster quarterback, a taller quarterback, a straight. You're gonna get all that, but you're not gonna get everything that encompasses Cam again. How far ahead he is again. I think that's what gets him in trouble sometimes, is the fact that he's so far ahead in the game. But man, to waste that's come on, dog. I don't think we're gonna see this again, bro. To just be in awe of a guy. Like, even last night, I was so pissed off at the freaking cameras. I don't know what they was doing with those darn angles, right? So you couldn't see what was going on. So it was kind of scary whenever we just dropped back and did something, because you don't know who was open, who was not. But having a Cam Ward, it made you feel, if he threw the ball, it made you feel like something good was going to happen.
Right.
Like, I don't know if y'all can recognize those feelings. I like, the last time I felt like that with the Dolphins was Chad Pennington, because I know Chad Pennington doesn't make mistakes. So if he lets the ball loose, I'm expecting completion. When Cam lets the ball loose, I'm expecting a great play. Unless it's a check down or something, I'll temper my expectations. But when I see him cock that bitch back and throw, I'm like, hey, somebody open. Like, I don't be scared that he's gonna throw a pick or something like that. I'm just like, hey, every time he throws it. And at them camera angles last night, you can see he was throwing. You couldn't see nothing. Could not see who he was throwing to. But I just know when that arm was go, something good was gonna happen. And just about every time something good was happening, Jacoby George was wide open in the middle of the field with Strepo. God forbid we throw a damn ball to Sam Brown on the fucking third down. I don't know why we do that shit, but everything is there. It's open, and man, I don't know when we're gonna get that feeling again, man. And just let that shit walk out the door.
Rich, 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 what's your take on Cam Ward, Rich?
Man, you're 100% correct. He's a generational quarterback, and I know it might seem like hate or slander to really put this into perspective and say, okay, if we go with the guys that we currently have on the roster, we're probably going to be an 8-win team. And that's no knock to them, because if you take the average of our past 3 seasons, we are about a 7.5 to 8-win team. We're about an 8-win team. But if we go get a Kyle McCord, who we saw just light us up, he played. I'm not going to say he lit us up. He played a perfect game at quarterback. So did Cam. If we go get a Kyle McCord, if we go get someone who has game experience at a high level and who's an NFL prospect, I say that we can resemble what we did in this year in 2024. But it hurts. My heart hurts a little bit because Cam this year got us out of a lot of games that we lost ourselves. Let me say it clearly. Cam Ward got us out of games in which we were outcoached. Cam Ward got us out of games in which the secondary was beat. Cam Ward got us out of games, and he put us in some tough situations too. But he got us out of a lot of games, and he played hero ball, and we won. And for that to not be rewarded with going to the ACC championship or not even having the opportunity to go to the playoffs as it stands right now, that's a travesty. So we paid a lot of money and we just did not get the job done.
Right. So Heather Dinich, who Mehdi loves killing Heather Dinich. Heather Dinich projects the Miami makes the playoffs.
I hope so.
I don't know if y'all can hear this.
Miami is in or out, and
I don't know if y'all can hear this, but let me see. Heather Dinich projects Miami to make the playoffs.
This is the biggest question for the selection committee on Tuesday night as to whether Miami is in or out. And in my bracket this week, I have them projected at number 11 and still in the college football playoff because this selection committee likes this offense and Cam Ward. They like close losses. This was on the road. I just have a feeling that selection committee chair Ward Manuel is going to talk about those close losses as he has with other teams, and they've already referenced that in the loss to Georgia Tech earlier this season when they were talking about Miami. So the Canes, to me, are still in, at least for right now.
She got us facing Notre Dame in the first round, and I would love us to face Notre Dame. So whether the Canes deserve to be in or not, you know what I'm saying, that's not the question. Canes' chances of making the playoffs kind of hinged on Texas beating Texas A&M last night and SMU beating Clemson. Us asking SMU to beat Clemson in the ACC championship and win the ACC championship, Kyle, in their first year in the ACC is so bittersweet, bro. I don't even know what to say to that, Kyle. I don't even know what to say to that, dog. I don't know.
It's ridiculous, bro. Same players we discarded. And said weren't good enough to be here is over there about to win the ACC. Come on, man. At what point do y'all not look hard at the coaching, bro? You have to look hard at it. Same players they're playing integral parts over there. It's not just Brashard Smith. You saw Jafari Harvey is the reason that they beat Duke. Elijah Roberts has been one of the best D linemen in the country since we kicked him off the team. For the last two, I ain't gonna say we kicked off the team, but the last 2 or 3 years he's been over there, he's been one of the best D linemen in the country, bro. He's getting sacked. Guys that we said just were not good enough are over there being good enough. So it's the whole question that Streeter has just put together for everybody, bro. At what time do we match the level of talent? Don't tell me that these guys are overrated on paper. Don't give me that. Because the same guys that were here last year, y'all said was overrated on paper. And them same overrated on paper guys are over at SMU about to win the goddamn ACC championship in the first year. We've been here for 20 fucking years and we can't do it. So at some point in time, all roads lead to somewhere, and y'all have to figure out that where. No, this is not me trashing Mario. What I'm saying is we have to figure out where the problem actually lies, where we need to get better. Because he can get better. He just has to know what to do. And I think he needs to surround himself with better people, not simply coordinators. I think he needs better people in his halls, on his shoulders. It can't just be him, Dennis, and Mirabal, bro. If he wants to get better, you need your Zoe type of guy that's hanging around you, bro. I'm sorry. You do. It's not a Bash Mario segment. It's not. But y'all got to hear what we're saying, bro. We got to get better at this coaching part of the gig, bro.
Facts, dog. Facts, dog. I mean, I'm in Orlando, dog. In a hotel in Orlando. I mean, they went to Disney World yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like our game plan yesterday. Fucking Mickey Mouse shit we put up. Mickey Mouse dog shit we put up yesterday, bro. It was elementary, dog. What we had to do to win that game. But I think the Canes can make a chance. Come get this. I think the Canes, come baby. I think the Canes can still make the playoffs. Here you go. I think the Canes still can make. I think the Canes still can make the playoffs. Because a couple teams are going to lose, right? And they're going to be sitting there with 2 losses, which we got a valuable loss in Georgia Tech. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, go to mommy. Okay, and so I do. I think they can. I think they can make the playoffs. And for people who saying all we're gonna do is get blown out, nobody gonna blow us out.
At all.
We're
Not
not
gonna
set up
happen.
like that. Like we're not. We're not
Yeah.
a.
Not
We're
gonna
not,
happen.
we're not gonna. That's the weird part. We're not gonna get blowed out by anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's gonna blow us out, though. We have a decent team. We just do dumb schematic stuff. Like yesterday was the easiest game to win once we got up by 21. All we had to do was sit Cam Ward down and say, hey, listen, if you don't run this ball and do
Hmm.
what Georgia Tech did to us and get us up out this motherfucker, it's me and you in the locker room, young gun. And that's just mano and
Hmm.
mano, man to man. Like, this season doesn't happen without Cam Ward, but you don't let him just run around and do what the hell he wanted to do. There's adults in the room. The adults have to take control at some point in time.
Hmm.
What Georgia Tech did to us is what we're supposed to have done to them after we were up by 21 points. We were up by 21 points. We were supposed to line up. I want to tell y'all that Damian Martinez was averaging 8 yards a carry. 8.6. 8.6. 8.6. We up by 21 points. We got 3 guys. Damian Martinez, Mark Fletcher, and then we got 21. Jordan Loud. That shit is supposed to look like 10-yard fight. And for the people in who don't know what 10-yard fight is, that shit was supposed to look like 3-man backfield, Colorado, Eric Bieniemy, Darian Hagan, and we supposed to just been faking handoffs and shit, doing shit like this. And no, throwing the ball. I'm gonna explain to y'all what throwing the ball. Throwing the ball up 21 is Golden State shooting threes up 21, allowing the team to get back in the game. That's it. That's what it is. It's a 3-point shooting basketball team up 20 points and allowing the other team to get more possessions to get back into the game. And what me and Cal are trying to say is that whether it's Guidry, whether it's Dawson, we have a head man, right, that's never been a coordinator. So somebody in the room has to be the smart guy, like Rich said, to say, hey, man, reel it in. We finna get up out of New York with a win. Let's run the ball. But we don't make that decision, Kyle. And what does that say to you, Kyle? Like, in the end, Kyle, sum this shit up for us so I get up out of here, man. I'm finna go to SeaWorld. I ain't got time for this shit.
It's like, man, everybody keep getting mad because we're not talking about the defense or keep saying, but it's just like, if I've got a retard in the living room and he keeps eating all the fucking crayons, and my whoever's watching him keeps saying, hey, he keep eating the at what point in time do I come out the room and just take the crayons from him? I don't just sit there and let him eat the goddamn crayons. So at what point of time do we come and say, hey, oh, no. It has to be this way. And again, I'm not putting it all blame on one fucking person or no shit like that. But all roads lead somewhere, dog. And all year, people are like y'all just said, somebody said something about Jacoby been cool all year. He really hasn't. He just hasn't been getting as many flags. We was pointing it out in the Discord, and people was like, man, I like what Jacoby is doing. And I'm like, no, that shit is gonna come back to bite you. Those plays where Jacoby is fucking got the ball and he's running to the end zone and he's pointing at people as he's running, they just didn't call that flag. Those plays where we're running the ball and somebody gets a good block and Jacoby jumps over the man and points at him like this, they just didn't call the flag. So we can't get there, and that happens, yesterday, and we're just like, damn, Jacoby, bro, that should have been corrected all the whole year, the whole 2 or 3 years. That nigga should have been sitting for like 3 or 4 games, and it's not to punish him. It is about correction. It's about getting him going forward, right? Same thing we did to Martinez. He wasn't even playing bad, and we benched his ass. We got a different Martinez. We benched Barron. Barron came back. We got a different Barron. Same thing with even Cam Ward. You have to reel him in. You can't just sit there and say this is who he is. No. Reel him in when it comes to the check downs. Reel him in when it comes to changing the plays and stuff. I can give you autonomy, but you have to be responsible with this autonomy. And at some point in time, I might have to say, okay, I'm not giving you the autonomy this game or this drive or this series. We're going to run the goddamn ball. When we get up 35 zip, I may start letting you pad your stats. But all of that stuff has to be controlled by somebody. So when we're seeing it again, it's not being controlled by somebody. That's where our problem lies. That somebody has to get that together and get this shit right, bro. It's just that simple. Screw the talent, screw the coordinators. Yeah, somebody's making these decisions, and I'll go one step further. There's somebody's got to be over Mario too. Like Gus Malzahn didn't just take his own play calling abilities from himself. Somebody had to chime in with that one. So yeah, Mario's doing this, that, and that, but Mario got a boss too. And whoever he is, he need to step his ass up into this and say, hey man, maybe you need a Zoe here. Maybe you need an Ed Reed here. So all the shit, it just goes to the top, all the way to the top, man. We got to get that part fixed before anything else.
Right. But we ran Zoe and Ed Reed out of here. I mean, that's a whole nother segment. Listen, we ran Zoe and Ed Reed out of here. That's a whole other segment. And nobody's saying bench Cam Ward. Like for the people who can't listen in the comment section, for the people with the low listening skills that rode the short bus to school, this season doesn't happen without Cam Ward. But Cam Ward is still a kid that can be coached. Kyle been saying it all season. He's been saying it all season long. He's still a kid that can be coached, right? But the season doesn't happen with him for the short bus people. Rich, you got any closing arguments, man? So we get up out of here, man. I gotta go see Shamu or somebody, man. Lolita or something.
Man, I don't want this game to be how Cam Ward ends his career. I don't want his career to end in some meaningless bowl game that he could probably opt out of anyway. I really would love to get some type of redemption to give us some type of I don't know how to put it, but to put a signature on this particular season. Give us a Notre Dame in the playoffs. And we know that's a rivalry game. Every Cane on that team should show up for that game. And I also want this same redemption for the coaches, too. Y'all been making some bonehead decisions this year. We've been outcoached in several games, especially on defense. I really want to see if within the next 2 weeks we can correct this type of stuff. Give me something. For Mario, I would tell my coaches, hey, if we get into the playoffs, it's going to be evaluation week because I'm going to see who can actually who's worth the salary that they're getting paid. For the kids, I want to see who wants to be Canes. I'm open it up. You ain't got nothing to lose. But I'll say this: you definitely don't want to go out like this. You don't want to go out like this. We mentioned earlier, you had an SMU who's new to the ACC, and we're banking on them beating Clemson with a bunch of South Miami University. Then you got Syracuse, who's just habitually bad.
South Miami University.
Syracuse is habitually bad.
Yeah.
And we let them go in with forgotten stars, the replacement players, and come out with a victory against us because we don't know how to make adjustments as a coaching staff. Man,
Yeah.
I just don't want us to go out like this. I want us to have a signature this season. That's all I got.
Shout out to the Villain membership, man, and the members. If you want to become a member, the link is in the description down there. Or just text us 786-405-9499. These are conversations we've had all year long in the Villain membership. So if y'all villains in the comment section, y'all shouldn't be surprised at some of this stuff. What we're talking about. I tell you this, man. What the Hurricanes are really good at are talent acquisition. A lot of people ask me, Kyle, like, why did I put recruiting on these shorts? Like, what you put recruiting on the shorts for, and you spelled it wrong? It's because that's what we're good at. Like, we're good at talent acquisition. We have money, and we got a few people in the program that are hustlers that go out and get guys. That's why you got a Fran Brown at the end of that game saying, shout out to Dabo. I want y'all to understand what y'all are looking at. Shout out to Dabo. I went and got you that win, Dabo, right? He says that because they look at Miami like Thanos with the fucking infinity rings, right? We got the money. We got the city. We got the talent around us. We got the state. We got the girls. We got the fine cars. They look at Miami like Thanos. And they're teaming up to stop it. That's what, don't look at it like, oh man, they got us. No, that's they small time asses looking at Miami like big time and saying, man, we got to team up to stop this. They're going to buy everybody players. Dr. E keeps saying, why Zoe get ran out of town? Hey, listen, man, that's a whole nother story, but Zoe and Ed Reed here, and I never said this publicly, fuck it, but here we go. Zoe and Ed Reed felt alienated when they were inside that building. I mean, and that's, I'm going to leave it there. We have these conversations in our Villain membership all the time, and I have them behind closed doors. Zoe wants to sit down and do another podcast with me. He said he'll sit down and talk to me. But those guys, they kind of felt alienated from what was going on. And I'll just say that. I'll say that. I mean, and leave that there. But at the end of the day, we're good at recruiting and talent acquisition. Fran Brown is teaming up with these guys. They're teaming up to stop Miami because Miami, when it comes to recruiting and acquiring players, is a problem to them. They don't have the resources to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have, like, listen, we're selling a lot of stuff. The city of Miami, we already are surrounded by talent. Like, it's a sleeping giant. But if you can't decide run the ball when you up 21 points and you averaging 8 yards of fucking carry, you're going to just keep shooting yourself in the foot until somebody come take your gun. Listen, man, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, share. I'm finna get out of his thing, man. Go to SeaWorld, bro. Like, I appreciate y'all. It's interesting. Miami still has a chance to make the playoffs, and I want to see us make the playoffs. I don't think we're anybody food. None of these teams out here look super great. I I think OJ Federic growed up last night. I think last night he took his bumps, and when they put the camera on him, I like what I saw. He was smiling, and he didn't look like the moment was too big for him. He looked like he was taking his bumps, and it was like, I'm gonna get this back. He didn't look like the moment was too big for him, like some of those guys look out there. So I want to see us get to the playoffs. I want to see Cam Ward get another shot, bro. And just saying this in closing, man. This shit was fun. Like, it was fun. We got to see, I think, one of the greatest college quarterbacks who will eventually be, I think, one of the greatest quarterbacks we ever saw play this game. We got to see him up close. I got to be on the sideline for a lot of it. We got to document a lot of it. So shout out to him, and shout out to the Miami Hurricanes, you know what I'm saying, for bringing them here and allowing us to be a part of it, bro. I just hope we get one more meaningful game out of it. If not, this shit over. And y'all gonna start asking me next week about Emory and the wide receivers, and Luke gonna start tweeting. And Luke gonna start tweeting, I told you so, because he called me 3 o'clock last night to tell me he told me so. Shout out to Jacoby George, man. Listen, man, we out of here, man. Y'all have a nice Sunday, man. Go to church or whatever. Go watch the Dolphins play it already, but we out, bro.